So now, to get into the program, I'd like to begin to transition to the awards ceremony, what we all came here for today. I'd like to introduce my colleague, Alec Dashanko, Director of Outreach and Engagement with LABBC. A lot of you have been interacting with him over the last few months leading up to today. And Cassie Rouser, she's a multiple times over judge of LABBC, a polymath, expert in so many areas, and she leads UCLA's Sustainable Grand Challenges, and she'll be providing the judge's perspective along with Alec through the rest of the awards portion of the program. So with that, hand it over to Alec and Cassie. Hey guys.
Hey Dave, great. Thank you very much. And thank you to Lauren and Maria and Cassie, to you for joining and supporting us. For those of you that I have not connected with, I'm Alec Dashanko, Director of Outreach and Engagement with LABBC. And I'd really like to just preface again by acknowledging and celebrating all of you, all of our applicants and finalists as part of this year's awards. I think we can all agree that this was an incredibly, incredibly challenging year, which makes the work you do all the more impressive. The progress that was made, not just in energy efficiency and water efficiency, but also within occupant health and safety, community support that we saw, as well as your internal policies surrounding diversity, equity, and even inclusion is laudable. And we really do tip our hats to you. You continue to raise the bar in the face of incredibly difficult times. So as Dave and others mentioned, thank you for all that you do. So that said, let's get into it. We have 6 award categories this year, and let's go ahead and kick things off with the Energy Performance Awards. So as a backdrop here, and to provide some context, it's estimated that if an average office building in Los Angeles blindly followed the ASHRAE COVID guidelines and protocol, without the support of many of you on the phone, building engineers, as well as building management systems and technology, energy spend would be roughly 70% higher. So that provides us with some context as to how COVID has further challenged not only our mission in decarbonizing our built environment, but also the reality. So said differently, the unprecedented health and safety concerns and a critical need for not just increased outdoor air, but also higher rated filtration. We're often at odds, as Dave had alluded to earlier, in optimizing HVAC loads and also building energy performance as a whole. So that said, our finalists not only instituted comprehensive health and safety practices, but they did so while concurrently reducing their energy and water use through strategic retrofit projects, as well as this utilization that I referred to prior of analytics, software, and building management systems. So with that said, let's go on to the finalists. All right, first up we have Sunset Media Center, which is owned by Kilroy, who I'm sure we're all familiar with. This project has achieved an energy reduction in 2020 alone by 9%. Additionally, energy reduction since ownership has been 13%. In regards to the specifics surrounding this project, Kilroy performed a number of improvements. Firstly, they performed a thermal imaging survey that was able to identify numerous duct leakage throughout the HVAC system. As such, they went ahead and they sealed all the leaks, reducing the amount of not just lost air, but also keeping the temperature uniform throughout the building. In addition, they also installed a data analytics software with the purpose of monitoring the building's HVAC system for both inefficiencies and then also delivering pinpointed causes, effects, and solutions to remedy. We also like to contextualize this with what the owner is doing in the grand scheme of things, right? What are their general ESG policies? What have they done related to health and occupant safety in light of COVID? So for each of these, we'll be going through those. In the case of Kilroy, they had a huge achievement in 2020 in that they achieved carbon neutral operations for all of their directly managed assets. So hats off to them on that. They also completed a climate risk analysis on all their assets, which is no small feat. In addition, they earned recognition for their focus on social elements as well, and joined the Bloomberg Gender Equality Index. Lastly, regarding health and safety, when COVID hit, they collaborated with Underwriters Laboratory, which provided a comprehensive pandemic response verification and on-site testing platform that they then use information in remedying certain situations. So that said, that's a lot of information. Cassie, I want to get your thoughts and kind of your highlights and interpretation of this particular project. What did you think?
Yeah, it's always really fun to review these projects every year. And Kilroy, as all of you know, is a leader in this space. And so what's really impressive with what they're doing generally, of course, is that they have reached carbon neutrality in all of their directly managed properties, as you mentioned. And I was also super impressed with their very well-rounded approach to sustainability generally. And they really are considering, the 3 E's: environment, equity, and economics. So always very impressive submissions from Kilroy.
Great. Thank you, Cassie. Next up, we have City National Plaza, which is owned by Commonwealth Partners. So since ownership, they have achieved an energy reduction of 38%, very impressive number. And then their energy reduction in 2020 through these projects we'll discuss was 19%. Both very material numbers and impressive. So related to specific projects they did in 2020, there were really 2 major capital projects. The first included an extensive LED lighting retrofit, inclusive of approximately 2,200 LEDs and installation of an advanced lighting control system. The second was a multi-year floor isolation project, which allows essentially the hours of HVAC service to be modified on a floor-by-floor basis. You can imagine with COVID and the impacts from that this proved incredibly auspicious. So combined, these projects will provide an annual energy savings of roughly 1.5 million kilowatt hours, which is a very, very material number for all of you that know kilowatt hours. In regards to general ESG, health and safety, as well as diversity, equity, and inclusion, the company has set long-term greenhouse gas emission reduction targets of 50% per square foot by 2030 and net zero emissions by 2050. In addition, they boast a portfolio, just as a general comment, boast of 100% of their portfolio is LEED Platinum and Gold certified. They received first place in the GRESB assessment in 2020, and they continue to receive awards through Energy Star and USGBC. Now, regarding health and safety, they did implement a host of operational changes. They optimized outdoor air intake through the HVAC system. They installed MER 15 air filters, which are very high rating. They scheduled reoccurring indoor air quality audits, and they also implemented enhanced cleaning measures throughout the last 12 months. So that said, Cassie, again, I want to get your interpretation from a judge's perspective on this one.
Yeah, as you mentioned, with all of the things that these folks had to do in response to the pandemic with regard to the air quality inside, the fact that they were able to still reduce their energy reduction by this amount, and of course their overall energy reduction since ownership is super impressive at just over 38%. Additionally, I really liked how they took advantage of of the situation of having less tenants in the building during the last year, and did the floor isolation project for the customized HVAC control, because they're going to see just really huge payoffs on that when folks return.
Great. Thank you, Cassie. So last up, we have 801 Tower, owned by Barings. They have realized an energy reduction since ownership of 24%, excuse me. And then they have also achieved an energy reduction in 2020 of 9%. Related to specific projects in 2020, they did begin utilizing a Genea on-demand tenant program cloud-based control system to optimize HVAC use. And you're probably going to hear this time and time again because it is a reoccurring theme, especially with COVID. But technology and the ability to modify settings on one's building management system proved imperative and integral in the face of COVID for essentially all of our finalists this year. So the general comment, I just want to say that technology has really led the way in large part in reducing energy and water for a lot of these buildings. So in addition to that, they also underwent significant preventative maintenance on all of their building systems, and they installed VAV unit temperature sensors throughout the building. In terms of their general ESG efforts, the building has earned multiple Energy Star awards, as they did in 2020. They did achieve LEED Gold certification, and they also achieved LA's Building Owners and Managers Association Award. This building has also been adding green lease riders, which is interesting, 2 tenant leases since 2014, which has ensured that sustainable operation of both tenant as well as common building areas. Regarding health and safety, the team performed extensive safety and cleanliness measures to manage the impact of COVID, including ongoing preventative maintenance for air handling units, installation of high rating air filters, installation of hand-free faucets, toilets, urinals, as well as soap dispensers, and the installation of nanoseptic self-cleaning button covers and ceiling exhaust fans within elevator cabs. So a lot of information there. Cassie, take it away. What did you get out of this one?
Yeah, I was very impressed with their response to COVID and their installation of those air filters, and especially with their engagement with their tenants. And I bring that up because I really like to see engagement in any of these projects, and a great plan and explanation of how they're doing that, because you know what that really means is that the technological solutions and changes are going to have a sustainable life and result in even greater savings over time. So I think engagement's super important, and they really demonstrated that they've done well in that space.
Absolutely. Thank you, Cassie. So to recap, our 3 finalists for the Energy Performance Award were Kilroy, Commonwealth Partners, and Barings. So Cassie, I will give you the honor.
The winner is City National Plaza of the Commonwealth Partners. And so today we have John Smith, the Director of Engineering and Operations at Commonwealth Partners, here to accept the award.
Thanks, Dave, Alec, and Cassie. My name is John Smith, and I'm the Director of Engineering and Operations for Commonwealth Partners. Commonwealth is honored to receive the Energy Performance Award, recognizing our efforts at City National Plaza. These efforts included completion of 100 floors of DDC controls to the HVAC zone, and completion of an LED lighting retrofit in both tenant and back of house spaces. As many of you know, an award like this is not achieved as a result of a single person, but as the result of the work efforts of the entire team. Due to our ESG goals, the projects we implemented demonstrates our ongoing commitment to energy optimization, resulting in 38% reduction since taking ownership in 2013. and exceeding our 20% energy reduction target by 2020. No matter your motivation, as real estate owners and operators, we all want to increase efficiencies. What really ties our efforts at Commonwealth together is the commitment we have to making meaningful improvements from all levels of our organization, including our capital partner, CalPERS. Together, we identify opportunities, design solutions, and implement them to improve our environmental and financial performance. Once again, thank you.
Great. Thank you, John, and congratulations again to City National Plaza and Commonwealth Partners on receiving the Energy Performance Award.